Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn three things. We will learn data cleaning using Power Query. We will learn data analysis using pivot table and conditional formatting. And more important, we also will learn about data storytelling. So let's get started. If you look in this particular file, we do have a report on February. So basically it's a Apple sales report whereby we have by the sales method like the Apple stores online sales, and we also have the sales of products for each regions like Asian Pacific, Americas, Europe for the month of January and February. So what I want to do is basically I want to actually perform data cleaning using Power Query so that all these will be tabulated in a proper database, and then eventually when I load as a pivot table, I can actually do the analysis and eventually I can apply conditional formatting to actually understand the data better. And if you look here carefully, we do have this data. So that means we have the February report, March report, April report, and even May report. So now what I'll do, the first thing is I'll press Ctrl N. So when you press Ctrl N, you will notice that it will create a new Excel file. So what I need to do is I need to actually click the data ribbon. As you can see over here, we have a data ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on data. So once I click on data, you will notice that over here we have get data. So get data means we can actually get the data from external source, whether from file or the internet or the PDF. Okay, it can even also be from a folder. But this case, since my file is basically in an Excel format, so I'm going to click from Excel workbook. Why? Because I want to import the database, the information from an Excel workbook. I click it over here. Once I click over here, you will notice a box will appear. So you need to know where you save your file. So apparently I save my file in the document. So under document, under case study, so I need to select the 002 sales February report. Click over here and press import. So once I press import, you will notice that a box will appear. So basically you need to choose the worksheet. So as you can see over here, a box has already appeared. So you can choose the worksheet. So if just see your worksheet or your file has multiple worksheet, you can select multiple items and you can click on the several worksheet. So in this case, I will just select the worksheet. As you can see over here, we have load and transform. Pressing load means eventually the data will be loaded as a table format. And pressing transform data means we will navigate to Power Query editor. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to click on transform data. By clicking transform data, like I mentioned, you will be navigated to Power Query editor. So in this case, where we will do the data cleaning. So my first column is not necessary because what I actually want is the sales method, the region, the products, the monthly sales. So this first column is not necessary. So I click here. You can press the delete button or you can just press right click and just click remove. So up to you. You want to click remove also can, or you want to click delete also can. So now this is done. But when you see over here, we do have the first row. So the first row has null. So up to you whether you want to click remove row, remove top row, or remove blank row. So I'll just click on remove top row because I want to remove the first row. So remove top row, number of row is 1 because the first row I want to remove, and I press OK. So if you look carefully, yes, here we have the sales method. Here we have January, February. But in this column 3, apparently we have two types of data. We have Asian Pacific, we have the products. We have Americas, we have the products. And we have Europe, as you can see over here, Europe, and we do have the products. So now the problem is I want to segregate these into two different columns. Okay, thank God this data we do have January. That means when I just say filter January, so apparently when I filter January, you will notice that it will show me all the regions like Asian Pacific, Americas, Europe. So what we can do is we can use conditional formatting as a trick for us to actually segregate the region. So over here we have add column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add column. So I'm going to click on add column, and under add column we do have conditional column. I click over here, you will notice a box will appear. So right here what we do is if they say column 4, so I'm going to select column 4. If column 4 has the word January, whether you want to put equal or contains is up to you. So we have equal. So I'm going to select if column 4 equals to Jan, and then if they say equals to Jan, what I'm going to do next? The next thing is I actually want to show column 3. So if they say it has the word January, What I'll do next is I'll select the column. I'll just put here column number 2. Sorry, column number 3, because column number 3 we have the region. Then I just put here null. I just press OK. So apparently by pressing OK, you will notice that we do have a last column over here. So I can bring it to the forward, right click, move to the beginning so that it appear at the front. So here we do have the region, here we do have the sales method. So what I'll do next is I select these two columns, so custom and column 2, right click, and I fill down. So I'll do what? Go to fill and select fill down. So just like that, we have apparently has filled down. The next thing is I want to put the first row as the header. So under home we have first row as header, and even transform also we have first row as header, depending on you where you want to click. So I'll click here first row as header so that the January becomes the header, February becomes the header. Next, I want to filter out what is not necessary, because apparently I only want iPhone, Apple Watch, MacBook, others. The total, the null, the Americas, the region, I don't want. So I click over here, I unselect all, I select Apple Watch because I want that, I select the iPhones, MacBook and others, and then I press OK, and just like that we have cleaned the data. Now next thing is I'm going to select the first 3 column, and I'm going to press here right click and unpivot other columns. So when you unpivot other columns, the other columns will be unpivoted, meaning to say you will notice that we do have January, February becoming in one column. So unpivot columns means basically we are transposing, like you see here we have January, February until June. So all these columns will appear into 2 separate columns in a pair of attribute and value. So I can actually select this until the end and right click, and I can go to unpivot columns. Or if just say you don't want to select all the columns, you can select unpivot other column, meaning to say what you will do is you will actually select these first 3 columns, right click, okay, so you press here right click, and then you can actually press here unpivot other columns. Okay, so now you may ask me, actually how can we can only have this January and February only, because apparently just now we notice we have January, February until June. Well, if you look carefully, for March until June we actually have null. So null means blank space. So apparently when we unpivot the columns, it will only show us whichever column that has values. So now what I want to do is I actually want to go to home and close and load. But before I think about close and load or close and load to as a pivot table, I need to rename this. So I will rename this as region. I'll put this as sales method. So this is sales method. And over here, this one here will be products. This will be months. And over here, ABC 1, 2, 3, I'll click here. I want to format as a whole number. So right now, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Because initially, if you look carefully, we have many separate columns. But over here, we have a clean data. The next thing is I can actually press close and load. But bear in mind, when you press close and load, it will load as a table in a new worksheet. So what I want to do is I want to press close and load. So what's the difference? By pressing close and load to, it will actually give us the option to either choose pivot chart, create connection or pivot table report. I click this, I press OK. By pressing OK, you will notice that we can load as a pivot table. So using pivot table, we can do data analysis. Like for example, I click here the months. So we have January and February. I just take the value. So here we have the values, and I can actually put the values over here again. So here I can do the analysis. So I can select here and then go to show value as, and I can choose percentage difference from. So I want to know the trending. So I click it over here. So instead of base item January, I choose by previous and I press OK. So meaning to say we can then have an understanding that we have a reduction. That means from 13 to 10, there is a reduction by 20% or specifically 19.62%. I can highlight this and I can choose conditional formatting. So choosing conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. So I can choose greater than. So if just say it is greater than 0, I want to put as green color, green fill with dark green text. And this icon will pop up. So I actually want to show all the cells of some value to values. And I'll do the same thing, conditional formatting again, highlight cell rules, less than. So less than 0, red color. And I'll just click this one more time to actually show not on the selected cells, but all cells showing sum of value 2. So I click this and there you go. So right now this one will actually shows that all the sum values 2 and so on. So what is the interesting magic is, if just say I put the region over here, you will notice that by region, all the region, Americas, Asian Pacific, Europe, all shows a reduction. That means there is a drop of sales from January to February. So we can actually understand data, because if you look here carefully, this will not help me to understand the data, but now I can understand, okay, apparently there is a reduction in the month of February, and I can also know by products as well. So if just say I put the products over here, we can see, okay, what is the performance of product. So Apple Watch, iPhone, MacBook, others all has experienced reduction of sales from January to February. But you see, you have to bear in mind, I want to show a proper presentation. If you see here we have none, because you see for January, February, there is no data for MacBook. So apparently there will be none. So I can select this, right click, go to pivot table option, and then after that for error value, I want to put here 0, so that my manager understand this is 0, and then empty cells also you can put 0, and then you can press OK. So now it will show you 0. But you have to bear in mind the format is not formatted properly. So you select this, right click, and you can go to number format. Bear in mind, what's the difference between format cells and number format? Format cells means it will format the particular cell. Number format means will format for the sum of value. So I want to click number format, because format cell means I need to highlight. So I'll click number format, I choose accounting, and instead of 2 I put here 0, and I don't want the symbol, so I put here none, and I press OK. So now it looks better. And of course, if just say you want to improvise, because here instead of sum value, I want to put here monthly sales, and then here instead of sum of value 2, I can put here month on month trending. So the trending is in the form of percentage. Okay, so this one I can just put here center, and I'll make it auto fit. Alright, so now we do have the data. But of course, manager will be confused, because here is apparently 0. But how can we have the number? Because here shows 0. So what you can do is, you can actually go to design, and over here the subtotal, you can actually put it at the bottom of the group. So when you put bottom, so now your manager can see. And of course, instead of this report layout of compact form, you can actually put in a tabular format. So by clicking tabular, so now your manager can see the data, and we can also choose in a different color. So now just say I choose in this particular format. So now we do have this data over here, and we can also put merge and center. So I click here, and then I press right click, I click on pivot table option, I just tick on merge and center, and then I press OK. So now you will notice, okay, so Americas, Asian Pacific. So apparently when you look carefully, all the particular periods like monthly sales for each products and each region has experienced decline in sales. So this is where we can actually do the data storytelling. But if just say we have the next month, so the next month is falls on March, April, May. So we don't actually have to redo again. What we can do is, for the first month is about hard work, but the subsequent month, what we can do is we can go to data. So over here we have data, so click on data. Okay, so I'm going to click on data, and here what we do is we click get data, and over here we have data source settings. So this is where we can change the source. So I'm going to click this, and what I want to do is, here is February, so I click change source, and then I actually have to click on browse. So once I click on browse, so initially my file shows February, I click March, I press import, and then I press OK. So the February becomes March, I press close. Now what I do is I press right click and I press refresh, or you can also click refresh over here. So what happened is, you notice that okay, February there is a decline. However, for most of the details except for others of Asian Pacific, we notice that there is an increase. That means like Americas experience increase, Asian Pacific with the exception of others there is increase, and Europe also experience increase. Especially on Apple Watch, there is a massive increase, more than 30,000% increase. So we can do the same thing. We can go to get data again, and we go to data source settings. So just now we select March, we click change source. So the box will appear, and then after that click browse against. Another box will appear, we click April, and then we press import, then we press OK. So make sure it changes, we press close. So we can just right click over here and refresh, and just like that you will notice, okay, so for April it's mixed. Like for example, there's an increase, decrease, increase, decrease, 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 increase, and increase. So this is how we can actually read, we can interpret. It's more to like data cleaning, data analysis, and data storytelling. So we can do the same thing again, get data, and then data source settings. And what we can do is, here April, we change the source, and then what we need to do is, we actually go to browse, and once we go to browse, so just now we select April, select May, press import, and what we do, we press OK, and we press close, and right now we just press right click and we press refresh. So by pressing refresh, you will notice now this is how the reporting looks like. So the interesting part is, the first month is about hard work, data cleaning, clean the data, so on. Then the second, third month onwards is more to data analysis and data storytelling. Now the thing in the real working world, it's not about how beautiful or how fascinating is your visualization. You need to have a story behind a number, because when we look at the European product, especially Apple Watch, it's a very weird sales report, because we notice there is a 200,000 over sales, then there is a terrible decline, about 100% decline, then we have a sharp increase, then we have a decline, then completely zero sales in May. So the manager will not be fascinated on how beautiful is your reporting, but more importantly, it's actually how you can tell the story behind the numbers, how you can interpret the numbers, and more importantly, how we validate the numbers, whether it is wrongly updated. So this is where we need to interpret, understand, and validate the data. So we use Power Query and pivot table and also conditional formatting to not only perform data cleaning and data analysis, but also data storytelling.